Welcome to episode 11 of the Bearded Gooner Show. I am the Bearded Gooner. Tonight I am joined by my good friend and low-cal bud, Colin. How are you, bud?
Doing good. Just working that Ed Sheeran life.
Well said. Stan the Brand. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for coming on. Down below, Ryan, my spirit animal.
Down below. Okay, I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Come on, man. I listen, man. I want to down, right? Isn't that the way it goes?
I'm gonna start a PG for now. We'll see how this goes. I'm sure it won't end like that.
Of course, it never does. And of course, as always, Tony Turner. I haven't quite gotten a nickname for you yet, so I'm still working on this. I'll come up with something, and we definitely have a full boat. Thanks for jumping in here, Rowan.
Islanders, yes.
All right,
the Islanders
tonight. I dig it. Even though I hate that team, I can live with it. It's hockey. So, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Center.
Esquire. By the way, how does one acquire the I guess the title of Esquire in your line?
Acquire the Esquire.
I have no idea.
Did you hear what I said?
It's a secret.
I did, but I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear your response.
He stumbled upon it.
He just added it to his name, just like Reverend.
Yeah, I guess. All right, boys. So let's jump into it. Good result over the weekend, and I said this the other day. It was actually, I think we were a bit fortunate, especially for the first 25, 30 minutes of the second half there. I think we were really just kind of holding on our heels. They were really pressing. They had a couple of glorious opportunities. Traore just chips it over the net, which, I mean, that was just – he just flat out missed. But then once the water break came, we came out just a completely different side. Lacazette comes on 2 minutes later, gives us the 2-0 lead, pretty much salts the game away, which was great. So, Stan, I'm going to come to you first. Give me your take on the result from Saturday.
See, I'm still in the phase. Even though this is our third clean sheet now, I'm still worried when we sit at 1-0. I'm still worried that we are never going to be able to close the game out because I've seen it happen too many times. But I actually thought that once the game finished and I look back on it, I felt that we were in pretty much control for the whole game. And, you look at the stats, and if you look at the shots that they had compared to ours, I think they only had one shot on target and forced one save from Martinez, which was the shot that I missed in the first few minutes. Other than that, I think that we were fairly tidy for the win. And I think Mikel Arteta got it spot on. This five, the system at the back with five, or if you want to call it 3 central defenders. I've said before, it's not something that I want us to see going forward. And I don't think even Mikel Arteta wants to really use it. But with what he's got at his disposal, it seems to be working with those personnel. And the clean sheets for me has probably been the best thing about the last few games.
Well said. I don't want people to think that I'm real, that I'm being a Debbie Downer or anything. As far as the win goes, I was not comfortable when we were up 1-0, but and we'll get into the specifics on the goals here in a few minutes. But at the very beginning, I thought we were back on our heels, and then at the beginning of the second half, I thought we were kind of back on our heels, but obviously good response to not only nick the first goal, but then obviously to for Lacazette to come on and get the second. So, Colin, what do you think?
I was a little surprised. I thought that Wolves would have posed more of a threat than they did, but I think collectively Arteta got it right in terms of how we played as a team. That was the most disciplined, maybe composed performance against a pretty good team that I've seen in a while from Arsenal. And I was pretty proud of the way the boys played. I think that everything Wolves tried to do that we canceled it out pretty well. They had a few close chances, but in the end, I mean, Saka, great finish, incredible finish, and then Lacazette, that first touch, man, I was like, this is the guy that we thought we bought, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And but no, I was proud of the boys. I thought that we put in a good shift, and I thought that we really played disciplined and composed.
Yeah, well said. Ryan, go ahead, piggyback off that.
I mean, kind of, what Stan was saying. Us with a 1-0 lead is nothing to be confident in. I think this is tactically our best game this season. But in saying that too, I think the Wolves kind of really missed the mark. I think Nuno really fucked up his starting 11. I personally, and I said this to you guys earlier, I was really looking forward to KT versus Traore, but I don't think him starting was the route they should have took. I didn't realize with Traore starting, they would leave out Diego Jota, who is, I think, one of their better players. So I think he would have gave us probably more trouble in the beginning of the game, and then Traore would have came in and ran us even more ragged. But no, overall great performance. Saka is as cool as you like, man. The guy is so composed, just signing a contract. So definitely excited about that. Wasn't too happy with the way he played, but I mean, he's given us stats, he's given us goals, so I can't complain. And then Lacazette. I mean, what could you say? It was a great first touch, but our problem with him, at least for me, my problem with him is he has a good first touch, but then he wants to take a second touch, a third touch, a fourth touch. All he needs is that one touch, and boom, and there it is. And exactly what we need for a big, important game tomorrow.
Yeah, massive, and we'll certainly dive into that as the show wears on. Rohan, what'd you think on Saturday?
So tactically, we were great. The only reason why we weren't comfortable at 1-0 is because this team has let us down so many times at 1-0, right? They've looked comfortable, but they tend to have a lapse in concentration and sort of go in and concede at a point of no return, because then we can't score. It's just so late in the game, and the other team has momentum, and they sort of capitalize and score a second one against us. So we didn't allow that. I think what I liked about the game was that I don't think there was a 9 out of 10 performance on the pitch. Everybody was sort of a 7.5, which is not bad. Which is not bad because I'd rather have more 7s on the pitch, or 7s and 8s, than have a couple of 9s and then a few 4s and 5s, because they're going to cost you the game. You're as good as the weakest link on your team, and they're going to target that. So we didn't have that really. Everybody put in a shift, and the substitutions worked well. There was motivation, there was hunger, desire. All in all, I think it was a great tactical game, and that set us up really well for this week. Massive games coming up.
Yeah, and of course, as soon as I unmute my mic, you're going to get that in the background. The host of the show can't get a word in edgewise over his frickin' dogs. Hang on. So they're yelling at me for animal abuse when I yell at her. Tony, go ahead, man. I'm going on mute again while they're over here roughhousing.
I'm kind of on your boat. I was kind of worried about us conceding a goal with us only being up 1-0, especially the way Kolasinac was playing. He had me worried until Lacazette came on and got the goal. I think it was Arteta's best game. I think he had his tactics right, made the subs right. And it's finally nice to see some desire and passing from the players. Wasn't any outstanding performances, a bunch of 6 and 7s.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And Rohan, that's a great point, actually, about you'd rather have, 8, 9, 10, 7s out on the pitch than 3 9s and a bunch of 3s, 4s, and 5s filling in the gaps there. That's very well said. Saka's goal, absolutely brilliant. I don't think anyone is going to argue that point. It did bounce. I mean, it took a deflection off a Wolves player, and Aubameyang's hand went up straight away to call for a handball. And the one thing I got to thinking about Saturday after this was I don't like Saka being played out on the right. I want him out on the left, or I wouldn't mind seeing him in the middle. Easy.
Yay!
I wouldn't mind seeing him in the middle. I'd love to see what he can bring, from an attacking mid perspective. That being said, if he's not on the right, he's not scoring that goal because he's probably not in that position. Colin, I'll come to you first on it. Saka's goal.
Yeah, brilliant finish. To go along with what you were saying, Tanner, I think it would be kind of cool. I know Arteta is very structurally sort of, relates his tactics that way. But it would be kind of cool to see Saka in sort of just a drifting position where he could sort of show up where he wants. I mean, I know he's young and hasn't had the experience, but just going forward, maybe going into next year, maybe allow him to sort of drift a little bit and sort of have a free role. It'd be interesting to see. Again, obviously not a tactical expert by any means, but just to see Saka kind of evolve into that role where he kind of dictate where he wants to be would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, Stan, what do you think?
Had Nicola Pepe been available, right, because his wife wasn't in labour, then who would have missed out?
I think
It kind of worked out. Say again?
Kolasinac.
You think so?
I think Tierney would have bumped into the center, and then I think Saka would have been our left wing back.
But how about moving forward? I mean, to shoehorn everybody in, for me, it just seems that the more that we play Aubameyang on the left, the more that we're kind of like trying to fit a few pieces in. Yeah. The only other way around it is, I mean, ideally, I said this, I think, on Ray's show on Sunday. Ideally, I think if you've got Aubameyang playing for the middle, you free up that left side to then maybe rotate in and out of fit Martinelli and Saka. But if he's going to occupy that left-hand side, and now we've got Laka and Eddie fighting through the middle to take up that place, if Pepe's available and he's playing on the right, I think the only available slot to fit Saka in would be where Ozil would usually go. Do you know what I mean? Moving forward.
Yeah. You can see that.
You know, we know that maybe Tierney may fit in at that left centre-back position, but that's only going to be temporary. At some point, you'd think that he's going to revert to being on the left of the defence, whether it's a 5 or 4. So how do you fit in everybody in that sort of top half of the midfield if everybody's fit? If we're going to persist by taking up that left-hand side with Aubameyang,
or is this, Dan, do you think that this is a matter of Arteta? How do I want to say this? Obviously, you want Aubameyang in there, but is it a matter of trying to put in because let's face it, our strength is in our attack right now. That's where our most talented players are. So is this a matter of Arteta trying to, you're right, shoehorn everyone in? And I'm just going to say this. It's a damn good problem to have that we're sitting here having a discussion about players that are good who may not get an opportunity, who may find themselves having to be a sub. So, because
I would have thought that, if you've got a player that you're trying to maybe, get to sign a contract, one of the things that you might do is, as we've seen with Saka, he's played almost every minute of the game, right? He put pen to paper. We kind of showed him that he was part of the team. You would think that if something was going to happen with Aubameyang, that we'd be playing him through the middle to say, look, we're going to build every attack around you. But obviously, that's not the case. And maybe Aubameyang's happy with being on the left. If he's not going to play through the middle now, when we want him to sign a contract, that's probably never going to happen. I think we just probably have to get resigned to the fact, and it's either going to be one of Eddie or Laka. So if going forward next season, that's the way it's going to be, then how are we going to fit everybody in? Because Martinelli's going to come back fit, right? We've got Saka. And I just think that the perfect scenario is to use that left-hand side for a season to give Martinelli and Saka minutes, because they can't play every single game. But if you rotate him in, rotate him out, rotate him in, rotate him out, you think that the left-hand side would be perfect for that. But Mikel Arteta's got a conundrum on his hands, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody, go ahead, jump in, free for all.
I mean, I personally want to see Aubameyang play up top as our lone striker and have Pepe on the inside right, Saka on the inside left, and kind of play a little triangle up top. I mean, I know he hasn't done it yet, but I think Pepe's best spot on the field is like just tucked in inside right, and Saka's best spot is tucked in inside left. So it would be interesting to see that. But then you look at like potential transfers and like kind of what the team needs to be and what the team should be like next season. I would love to see a 4-3-3, and I would love to see Saka play left midfield, and then Pepe would probably play right forward. And that's in that situation. And then I also think too that Arteta really wants Eddie to get minutes, and I think Arteta is kind of pushing minutes on Eddie to kind of get him into form because I think he really wants to use Eddie, and I think he thinks that Eddie is going to be a force to be reckoned with later down the road.
Anyone else? Yeah, keep going.
I'd like to see us try a 4-2-2-2 and have Pepe on the right and Saka on the left, cutting in, and Pepe going on to the outside, kind of like City used to.
Like a penis? 4-2-2-2-2. I don't know what it looks like.
I thought he was going to show a penis or something.
8 with the equal signs and then the capital.
That's what we have. All you guys here have been watching. What are your thoughts on? I don't want to get away from Tanner's itinerary, but what do you think about Ozil going forward in terms of how he fits into this team / doesn't?
He doesn't. I'll just leave it at that. He doesn't.
The only thing I miss part of his game is he's really good at drifting in between the defense and behind getting in between the midfield and the defense, which is what we've been lacking a lot. And obviously creativity, but if he's not going to show up for most of the game, then it's sort of moot at that point. I don't think he's going to play at least the rest of this season. Again, it depends on like the guys we bring in. Like if we bring in like a Thomas Partey and we don't sign a creative midfielder, I can see Ozil getting minutes next season. I'm not saying we'll like re-sign him or anything like that. I still think next season will probably be his last, but it just again depends on summer signings, depends on our youth. I mean, that's we probably gonna talk a lot about youth today, and I think youth is the biggest thing because youth is something that we have right now. We're the youngest team in the Premier League. I was at 25.5 years.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, youth is a big thing for us, and I think we need to utilize it, whether it's setting people out on loan, maybe cashing in on some of these young guys, selling them, I'll say Guendouzi. Something we should probably look at. But, like with everything going on with COVID, might be swap deals, which sucks because you kind of want the money, but we do need pieces. So I'm not opposed to swapping some deadwood.
Well, but at that point, I mean, the money is used to buy players. So if we're swapping players out, isn't the avenue by which we acquire them kind of 6 1 half dozen of another? You know what I mean, Ryan?
It depends. Like I think if it's what if not? But if COVID never happened, I think we would be better off selling Guendouzi. Just an example, selling Guendouzi for money rather than swapping him. But seeing as how it's just with everything with youth and everything. I just think that with youth you need to cash in money wise. I don't know. I just don't think swapping youth for guys that are like a little further along. Like I think you brought this up on one of your Twitter polls. You wanted to swap. The conversation was swap Guendouzi for Partey, and I completely disagree. And it actually has nothing to do with me loving Guendouzi so much. I just think swapping up a youth prospect that sky's the limit. I think he had, I guess you could say now, a great attitude to be like a future leader, future captain of this team, and he's exactly the kind of savage shithousery that we desperately looking for. But and you're gonna sign a guy who. He's not having. I'm not saying he's having a shitty season, but in La Liga, Thomas Partey is not having his best season, and he's older. So, do you want to take that risk? And he's never played in the Premier League, so it's a real gamble. So yeah, in that point too, I think clubs it's hard to compare players and money and value and all that mumbo jumbo, but I think we would. I guess if you can compare a player to money. We would get more selling Guendouzi for cash than the player we would get in return in a swap deal.
Well, I actually think in your example with the Partey thing, I don't think Guendouzi gets the deal done. I think it's a Guendouzi plus cash deal. quite frankly, because I don't think Atletico would value Guendouzi as high as they would value Partey, and I think they'd want.
Yeah, I heard the opposite. I heard Simeone loves Guendouzi and wants to bring him in desperately. So if they know Partey's leaving, why not? Like, if anything, they should be offering us cash because they know Partey's leaving. He's not agreeing. You know, it just makes sense. But again, you know, as much as I love Arteta's iron fist and how he's dealing with these players, you know, it's also making it very apparent to clubs, hey, we're trying to get rid of this guy, and it's severely lowering his price tag, which sucks. But you know, things got to get done somehow.
Yeah.
Given this market, I don't think that we would get a lot of cash for a guy who's not really showed what his best attributes are and has an attitude problem. I mean, Simeone could love him. I don't know, you know, how much he knows him. You know, has he coached him ever? I don't think so. So, you know, it's just what he's seen on the pitch, and I don't know if he would have liked what went down. Maybe he would have. That's sort of a Simeone sort of move that he did against Brighton. But you know, all in all, I think it's a decent deal for us. But you know, the overall shape needs to be assessed, right? Does Mikel Arteta want to persist with the 3 at the back? I don't think so. I think he wants to go for a 4-3-3. That's what he tried for long, but then now he's fit his system to the person, which is great management, by the way. I mean, it's not persisting with the same thing. But in a 4-3-3, maybe we could try, you know, where I'm not talking about a traditional number 10, but 2 number 8s of sort, or 8 and 6, and one of them could be Saka, maybe. I don't know. He could play there on the left-hand side of midfield. Or, like I said, you know, in an ideal situation, I would like Aubameyang up top and Saka and Martinelli battling it out for that position on the left wing, because his main attributes are dribbling and crossing. And we'll sort of cut that out if we play him in midfield. You know, so we have to play to his abilities as well.
Well, I think if our midfield's working really hard, I think Saka's crossing would definitely come into effect more so as a midfielder than a forward, just because he's going to be so high up. And I think with his work rate, the way he runs, and the energy he has, I think midfield, in my opinion, I think is his best attribute. And especially if he could defend for us, which obviously he played left back for us, and he got man of the matches multiple times. So I think, you know, it's tough because I could see us playing a 4-3-3 and it working with, I mean, obviously Martinelli's hurt, but you have up top, you'd have Martinelli on the left, Aubameyang in the middle, Pepe on the right. In the midfield, you would have Saka on the left, Ainsley Maitland-Niles on the right, and then the middle, I have to say Xhaka. I can't really put anyone else there, but you want to put Partey there in that spot. And to me, that's like the perfect 6 up, not up front, but forward and midfield. Again, we'll see with signings and all that. I mean, but Arteta obviously kind of wants to, and I've kind of touched up on this, how, like, you know, he's making a puzzle with duplicate pieces and pieces missing. I also think he's trying to figure out what pieces he has. And I think, you know, with Maitland-Niles playing right back, right wing back, he played left wing back against the Wolves. So, and yet he's played center mid for Arteta too. So it's, you know, I think he can be a Milner, but still you have Saka again, Saka playing right wing. He played left wing. He played left back. So I think he needs to, this season, Arteta's really trying to figure out where his guys go, where their best positions are, and what he needs going forward.
Yeah, I think he's figured out that at this point, and I think I said this last week too, the mark of a good manager, especially a new manager, is, and especially because of the way that when Arteta came in, there wasn't going to be a massive overhaul of players in the middle of the season of the January transfer window. So he basically was handed the ingredients and said, okay, you know, try to make me a 5-course, you know, Michelin-starred meal out of this, where, you know, come the beginning of next season after, well, not even a full summer transfer window, you know, I think he's going to revert back to the 4-3-3, but I do think he has found something in this 3-4-3 with this particular group of players that he thinks works. Go ahead. talk amongst yourselves. If you look in the private chat, you'll see what's going on.
Okay, I just had a question for you. Just what your thoughts were in terms of Mikel Arteta under Pep Guardiola. How you think maybe that prepared him or didn't prepare him for the current task?
I mean, I hate personally. I hate comparing. Obviously, like what he learned in Man City, he's obviously translating to Arsenal. But in the same respect, it's two different things. They operate two different ways. We don't have a KDB in our squad. We don't really have that. How do I say this? We don't necessarily play like Man City. I know, like when Arteta came, he tried to kind of mold us into that kind of play style, but I think it just comes down to pieces and man management, and I think is a big thing that he's done over the past couple of weeks is just sort of man managing and kind of like riding the ship and getting these players to sign up, getting these players on board, getting these players on the boat, which is what he said. Multiple times, and I think it's just now that the players are starting to buy in. Now it's like, okay, I have what I need. Now it's time to kind of push forward. But
I think in terms of talking with Aubameyang and some of the other players in terms of their contracts, I feel like maybe that credential of having worked with one of the most respected managers in Europe might have given some clout to Arteta. What thoughts?
Maybe. I mean, I think personally, at least with the Aubameyang situation, I don't think it's anything to do with Pep. I think it's just, or at least I don't think Arteta learned anything from Pep, maybe coaching wise. But I think what Aubameyang is seeing now is, okay, we have the future. The future is all signed up. Martinelli's in, Saka is in. We're winning. We won a big away game at Wolverhampton. We're in the semifinals of the FA Cup. Things are starting to take shape, and I think what's said. Again, we don't know how true this is, but he wants to win trophies. Which I don't not believe that. Like, of course, you want to win trophies. Professional football. That's like the one thing you want to do. You want to win hardware. But I think he sees us kind of turning the corner, and I think that's going to kind of make his decision. At least for me personally, I think if we win the FA Cup or maybe lose a close final game, I think that could do it too. But just with this whole season and seeing how it's going, I think his mind will be made up before that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, something that I pointed out in the last show that we did on Sunday was that just look at some pictures, just look at the way the team talk happens during the water break. That's an indication. That's a part that we never got to see before, right? Because they would go inside unless it was extra time, etc., which rarely happens. So. In body language, you could tell that even the senior players are buying into what he's saying. They respect what he's saying. They understand what he's saying. He's communicating well, and that has translated into the performance. The performance, actually, I watched the game again, and then I watched the breakdown also today by 8 o'clock, right? And basically, they showed that. I was thinking that the midfield didn't do much because we were bypassing them and we were sort of going from the wings, which was all right because we were outnumbered in midfield. But what the midfield did was break up play and give some rest to our defenders. They kept niggling away, they kept winning the ball, they kept passing it out wide. These are things that are tactical, and these are things that can come only once your role is absolutely clear. If it wasn't clear, then people would just run amok.
Yeah, I think the players are definitely starting to buy in. I think when Arteta first came, some of these players were like, I used to play with him. Now he's my coach. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's a young guy, hip on the block. They don't know what to really expect. And I think he kind of earned a lot of players' respect over the past, few weeks. And I think it's starting to show. So I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a shame that, I was just watching the highlights of when the last time that we played them at the Emirates, and it was such a beautiful game because Ozil controlled it. And when Ozil is in form, he's one of the best players to watch, right? But the issue is that he's in form in 1 in 10 games, and we just can't have that. He's a liability otherwise. So, but that day he was in form, and the way that we played, and that gave me confidence somehow in Emery. But looking back, it was probably just muscle memory from Wenger days, because that was an Emery ball. That was like the ball.
Yeah, I do agree.
Thanks for carrying the show for me there, fellas, for a few minutes. Unfortunately, duty for the dogs called, of course.
Dude.
Right before I come live, I take them outside, and hopefully that's all squared away. And then, of course, the minute I click the live button, they're going to go nuts. So before I had a house. Yeah, good stuff so far. Somebody had hit earlier, Ryan, I think it was you, on the job that Kieran Tierney did on Adama Traore over the weekend. And I just kind of wanted to bring this back up again real quick, because I think there was a part of this. If you go back and you watch when Traore moved out to the right, and really, Tierney was really the guy. I don't necessarily want to say man marking him, because I don't think that's 100% accurate. But I think the game plan was to force him back into the middle, where there was going to be some help in the form of Kolasinac. So I think, number one, I think Tierney did a great job. I don't think he was subbed off for any injury or lack of performance. I think he was taken off just to keep fitness, just to be rested for tomorrow, quite frankly. But I think the game plan was evident even when Maitland-Niles came on, because he did the same thing. They just angled themselves so that Traore really didn't have a choice. It's either dribble the ball over the touchline or cut back into the middle where Kolasinac was waiting for him. So I think, Arteta's game plan to really sort of minimize Traore, for the most part, I think worked to a T. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I actually think that Maitland-Niles. I think with Tierney, you could say fitness, but I think the Maitland-Niles stuff was planned before the game even started. I think he was bringing Maitland-Niles on regardless to kind of keep his eye on Traore. I think who's going to run with Traore? Maitland-Niles is going to run with Traore, and I also think too. Part of me thinks Arteta didn't think Traore was going to start, so I think he had Maitland-Niles in his back pocket for when Nuno brings on Traore. Cool, you want to play that card? I'm going to bring on Maitland-Niles, and we're going to go pace for pace. And I think easily Maitland-Niles wins. And I think Maitland-Niles is one of the better stand-up tacklers, if not the best stand-up tackler we have on our team, and perfect thing for Traore. And also on top of that, Maitland-Niles is right-footed, so he's just going to force Traore in the inside anyway too. So it's just I think it was the perfect combination. And like I said, I think Maitland-Niles it was planned regardless of if Tierney got hurt or anything fitness wise. Maitland-Niles is coming on regardless.
Well, I agree with that 100%. Like I said, I don't think there was anything injury related, or I think it was planned. That's a great point. And I think it was just Maitland-Niles has the athleticism to stay with Traore and give KT a bit of a rest. Stan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was definitely something that they'd planned out beforehand. And like you say, a lot of people have been saying that maybe Kolasinac had a bad game, and he's not the best when it comes to technical football. But I think for what Mikel Arteta was probably looking to try and accomplish in that part of the pitch, I think it worked quite well. Because Kolasinac didn't come off, did he?
No, he stayed on.
So he must have been doing what Mikel Arteta wanted him to do. But for me, it's about how Mikel Arteta is going to improve players, because he came here. You asked the question a few moments ago. What do we think he's learned of? I think it was Chris in the middle. Is it Chris in the middle? He's frozen. He asked the question whether Mikel Arteta has learned very much off of Pep Guardiola, and we don't really going to know that yet. And I don't even think that he's probably playing the formation that he really wants to play until he gets more players in. But he did come here with a reputation of being able to improve players. So for me, I'm very much interested to see that when the season finishes, we could look over and see who's improved. And there's probably a shout already that you can see some improvement because we have players in our team that, for me, it only takes one brain fart or lapse of concentration, and we have a number of players that can cost us points. Mustafi, Luis, maybe Socrates, Xhaka even as well. All of these players are capable of costing us points. But it's refreshing to see, as I said earlier, that we've kept 3 clean sheets. So I'm looking to see how those players that I've named are going to fare by the end of the season. Because Mustafi looks like he's improving. And I like
Apparently, we offered him a new contract.
I liked what I saw from Mustafi in the last game. But when those people that I've named are in the team, I'm never relaxed because I still remember that they're only one brain fart away from chaos.
Yeah, like Gary Neville had said that these defenders are uncoachable, and he's got 10 clean sheets in 21 games, so he's definitely coaching them. And I think these defenders also in a 3 feel more comfortable. We've been playing much better defensively since we had a 3. David Luiz generally, even at Chelsea, his best season, I think, in my opinion, what I saw was when he was playing in a back 3 with Conte. And there's just more cover because there are more bodies in the box, so it's worked out better for them. And on Traore, that situation, tactically we got the better of Wolves, and that testament to that was, well, the only thing that Traore was going to do is run with the ball, but we didn't let him turn at any point. And so much so that he went over to the other side where Mustafi was getting close to him. So, we kept on niggling away, taking the ball off him, canceling his most dangerous attribute, which was massive in getting us the win. He got the chance twice, and he showed that he has the pace and the spatial awareness to get in and be one-on-one. And that's when Martinez came into the fold. So all in all, again, tactically, we did really well.
That's a good point about Martinez, who I think has definitely earned his spot in terms of how he's played and conducted himself since coming into the lineup. I think has been a revelation, really.
Yeah, I mean, so much so that that now there's a lot of fans, including me, who think that it might be unfair if he's automatically dropped when Leno comes in, because I've been thinking about it, and there are some things that. So Leno will give you that world class save, right? Like that one save in a game that's on a knife edge. I don't think Martinez will give you that. Leno would be better in that, but in terms of distribution, Leno's better. Martinez is better than Leno. So
No, I don't want. I'm not creating a controversy there. I'm just saying Martinez has come in and really conducted himself and played well, and I think has earned all the praise that he's gotten.
Yeah, dude. Every game he's proven me wrong. So I'm starting to like. I was never a huge fan of him. I've said it on multiple podcasts. I prefer Matt Macy over him. Didn't get the hype, and he was proving me right a little bit when he was playing in Europa. I didn't like most of the games he played, but since he came in for Leno, man, he's been lights out. I mean, you can't argue anything. I mean, I love Leno, so it's you're gonna have to like.
No, I'm not saying
I almost feel like a hoarder, and you're putting me on hoarders, and you're trying to pull me out of my house. It's gonna be tough. I love Leno, so to have Martinez start over him would probably I'd cry a little. But
Leno I think so good enough to cement his spot, but Martinez has definitely come through.
Yeah,
isn't it more of a case of? I mean, one of the reasons that we all rate Leno and we all think that he's a good keeper is because. Especially under the Unai Emery tenor, we had a goalkeeper that was constantly having a goal that was being peppered with shots, probably more so than a lot of other keepers for other teams in the league, which was forcing our goalkeeper to make a lot more saves. So we had an opportunity to see how good he was. But I've got a feeling that although we've been keeping clean sheets, I've not checked the stats, but I've got a feeling that the shots that are coming onto our goal, that's been tempered. And I don't think that the goalkeeper is not having to work as hard So as well as we've been keeping the clean sheets, and Martinez has done well, and I do like his distribution. I don't think he's been worked nearly as hard as Leno was.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And that's why I was saying, like, and I also kind of piggybacking on that. He made I think he caught a cross like late in the second half. Other than that, I don't. He came out for two Traore's chip shots. He missed. Other than that, though, like, no offense, because I know there's people in this room that gave him man of the match. I do not. I don't get it.
No.
I don't see that at all. He didn't have to really do anything. He made listen. He's a professional goalkeeper, so obviously he did things right. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but like to give him man of the match, I thought was a little nuts. But again, going back to Rohan's point, all these guys were 6s and 7s. I had the toughest time picking man of the match. I actually texted a bunch of you guys and asked your thoughts and your man of the match because I couldn't pick one. I really didn't know. I actually ended up going with Tierney just because I'm falling in love with him and he worked his socks off. But it's you know, to me, you really can make a case for a lot of the players, except for Xhaka, though.
All right, so
I think Martinez commands the troops better than Leno does. I think Leno's a better stopper, but I think Martinez yells at him, directs him more than Leno does.
They had 10 shots, and I think the one stat I do remember was that Wolves had 10 shots at our goal, but only one of them was on target. Whereas we had something like, I think it was 8 shots. 5 of those were on target. So the keeper's not really being tested. Yes, he got that very good saving at the beginning, which I missed because I wasn't watching my stream yet, and that could have changed the game. But I think a lot more credit has to go to what's going on in front of the keeper. It looks like we've got that sorted out because the goalkeeper just isn't under as much pressure as Leno was when he first came into our team.
Yeah. To be honest, I think I'm more to kind of segue where Tanner might want to be going here. I'm kind of more optimistic about this Leicester City game than I probably would have been had Wolves, done a number on us or had we lost or drawn the game. I feel sort of confident going in. What about you guys?
They're playing bad, so yeah. I mean, they're playing bad. Chilwell and Madison are probably not going to play. So
I heard Chilwell and Madison might be out.
I mean, I'm definitely excited. I'll give you that. That's all I'll say.
Right, like Fuchs and Justin, or like I don't know who their second, who their other fullback.
So is Justin James? I think Justin James plays right back, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Fuchs will be a left back. But and they'll be against Pepe and Aubameyang. I mean, that's a difficult one to handle, especially if you're not the first teamer, right? So going into it, I think I have some confidence also because we've sort of had a good run against Leicester. Generally, we tend to win at home against Leicester. They've won the last 2 games against us, so that puts a little bit of shade on it. But as long as we are tight defensively, we don't give away that Vardy penalty like we always do, and sort of control the game. I think we have the quality to ride it out. We are the team on the up, they're the team going down, and this is massive because it'll reduce our point difference between us and them to 6 points.
Yeah,
I think why I'm confident too.
At home against them.
Yeah, I think why I'm confident too is because I think they're going to play us like the Wolves tried to play us. They're going to sit back and they're going to be like, "Oh, we're going to wait for Arsenal to fuck up, and we're going to take advantage of that." The only difference with Leicester doing that though is if we do mess up, they have Vardy. If the Wolves mess up, yeah, they have Jimenez, they have Traore. I don't know. So Vardy's the leading goal scorer, so like obviously I'm going to be more scared of him, than the other two. But I mean, I think the thing too is I think Wolves are a little more better structured than Leicester is, but also in the same respect, I think Leicester's better defensively. So it's going to be real interesting. I think our midfield's really going to have to step up, which I know I probably hot take, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me because I've been reading a lot of stuff, which I think is crazy. Our midfield was not good against the Wolves. Our midfield was not good. It was very static, didn't do much. We made and Rohan said this, and I agree with him there. I think we made a lot of recoveries and interceptions. I thought Ceballos did a really good job in that. But in saying that, that's supposed to be what Xhaka's supposed to do. Xhaka didn't do that. And I think in Ceballos doing that and playing so defensive, getting said interceptions and said recoveries, I think that limited his creativity, and he couldn't really press up and play the game he wanted to play. But, I mean, hey, clean sheet, it helped. It is what it is. But it's going to be tough going against, Ndidi, Vardy. I know no Madison, no Chilwell, but I think they have another midfielder that is pretty good. But it's going to be interesting.
Let me throw. I put Ray's comment up there on the screen. He said that he had said earlier that Wolves had to face a pretty good team in Arsenal, just like we had to face a good team in Wolves. Are we getting to a point here where we can start dictating terms now to some of these teams? Should we be dictating terms to Leicester City tomorrow night? Tomorrow night.
Yes, but what I want to see is, I don't want to see this, but we need to see this. I want to see us go a goal down. Not saying in this game, but I want to see us go a goal down, or I want to see us have things not go our way early and see how we respond. Because with the Wolves, nothing really went against us. Everything kind of went our way. Like I was saying before, Wolves kind of sat back. We kind of dictated what we were going to do. They wanted us to come at them, and they wanted us to make a mistake. Now, I do think Leicester's going to do that. But with the same thing is, what if Traore scored that goal in the first 30 seconds of the game? So I think seeing how we react after being one goal down would be very interesting. Because yes, we played great, and I'm confident with Arteta's tactics and formation. The sky's the limit, and we're just going to get better and better and better. There's also, that mental side of the game for the players where it's okay, we're 1-0 down. You need to fucking pull up your shorts and get to moving. I don't know if that's there yet because Arteta can only do so much with that. These players all have to, buy in, but they also mentally prepare themselves for, things aren't always going to go your way. You're going to be one goal down. We need that tenacity, that fight. I
know we have a lot of big games coming up, but I think this Leicester game is going to be the most interesting because I don't think they're that much ahead of us in terms of quality, but at the same time, they've been performing at a pretty high level compared to us. So I think it's going to be definitely the most interesting. I know we still have Liverpool and is it Chelsea still? But at the same time, I think this is going to be the most interesting because I feel like it's pretty evenly matched in terms of how we approach things, but we'll see how it goes.
Anyone else want to hop on there?
Yeah, I feel a little bit differently, actually. The last 3 games, when people have asked me my predictions, I never once said that we'd have a clean sheet. And I think that they've done enough. Arsenal's done enough now to actually build up my confidence. And I really bloody hope I'm not jinxing it. I do. But I've got a feeling tomorrow.
You just did.
Man, stop.
Mute his mic.
They're coming to Oklahoma.
Leicester have had a few games where they haven't scored a goal. I mean, Norwich beat them 1-0 earlier in the season. Chelsea have beaten them 1-0. They're not a team that, if they lose, they lose and they still score a goal. They can end up a game with nothing. I've got a feeling that tomorrow we're going to get another clean sheet. I don't know what the score's going to be, but I've got a feeling that we're going to win, and we're going to maintain the clean sheet.
Knock on wood, Stan. Knock on wood.
You'd have thought that.
No, he might have a good point. We've been defending well, and we'll just see. I mean, it's pretty much Vardy without Madison and Chilwell is sort of the only guy they really have that can sort of change the game. So we'll see how it goes. I got a good feeling we're going to keep a clean sheet.
I would say that, but they're coming off a 3-0 win against Palace, and it's it's Palace. Who cares? But we were in the same position. We beat Norwich 4-0. Oh, it's just Norwich. We didn't play well. I didn't watch the whole Leicester Palace game, but it's hard to compare games. It's sort of like apples and oranges, but they played a lot better than we did against Norwich. So I mean, I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna really put too much into that, but You know, they could be out to prove a point because it was their 3-0 over Crystal Palace was their first win since the restart. So I think they're going to kind of come out firing.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point.
And I think they're going to come out like we played against the Wolves, which is scary to think because, again, they have a point to prove too. People are starting to doubt them now and like, you know, here we go. The wheels are falling off Leicester. So I don't know. I know you're probably going to ask for a score prediction before this is over. Right now, I can't give you one. I'll probably just bullshit and say something, but I don't know. It's anything could happen.
That's why Ryan's the honest guy. That's why we got him.
What's that, Tony?
I said, isn't that what he always does? Is bullshit.
Pretty much.
Middle name.
Dazzle with brilliance or baffle with bullshit, baby.
I'm all about that shit, bullshit.
It's all about that shit.
What you got on confidence heading into this into tomorrow against Leicester, but then also kind of back to the point I made, should we be looking to be on obviously we should be looking to be on the front foot all the time. But at this point, is our confidence high enough where we can go into this match and say, right, you're going to play the way we want you to play?
So, of course, playing at the Emirates, that is how it should be. And, you know, we are the Arsenal. We should be dictating terms to every team. But we're not there yet in terms of confidence, in terms of, you know, the way Arteta wants us to play with the pressing, in terms of, you know, just the overall personnel that we have. And you know, what I fear, and I don't want to be a downer in all of this, is that, you know, I don't want it to be a false dawn, right? Like, if you remember the first win, I think that Arteta had, which was our first win of the decade, was against Manchester United, and we absolutely peppered them, right? Like, I mean, it was a great game, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoyed that. And since then, you would have thought that we would have gone from strength to strength, and we sort of stagnated in the middle. And now we've again gone out on top. And that credit is to Arteta because he's sort of understood that I can't make my system work on these personnel because we were sort of tiring out after 60, 70 minutes, but rather have to adapt myself to this. So, you know, I have seen both sides of management, this sort of management in the past few years. I mean, we all have, right? Wenger never cared for the opposition. You always wanted to play the Arsenal way and your way. Emery was so scared that he would never play to our strengths. He would always try to play the opposition. I hope Arteta does something in between. You know, you have to respect the opposition. You need to understand that Vardy has the pace. He will go down if he gets an opportunity. You know, they are a good team. Show them the respect, but also have confidence in your abilities.
I think that what Ryan was just talking about there, like after the Man United game, and then there was like a kind of like, as he said, a stagnation. I think what's happened is it's not only has Mikel Arteta had to be dealing with, you know, a new formation, new tactics, talking to players about what he wants from them. I think that he's also had to deal with some other issues that have been going on behind the scenes with one or two players. And I think that we've not only have we turned a corner in in the way that we've been playing over those last few games. I think what you're seeing as well is because some of those bad eggs are being kept away from the team. We've seen that we've signed players on new contracts. We've brought in those players that were on loan. I think there's a good vibe around the actual team now. So it's not just only about they're listening to and understanding what Mikel Arteta is asking from them on the pitch. I think that there's been an improved well-being in the attitude of the team, you know, that part of it, the mental side. Everybody seems to be kind of like seeing that there's a brighter future, and maybe those elements that have been, you know, the glum faces around the team have been sort of like kept a little bit now to the side.
I think I agree. It seems like with Emery leaving, it seems like there's been definitely more of a united sort of understanding of what things were supposed to be, because under Emery it seemed like he came in with his plan and then no one really knew what he was talking about. But under Arteta, it just definitely seems like there's more of a united front and in terms of a structure and a plan of going forward.
Yeah, with Emery, it almost kind of seemed like he walked in and said, "Right, lads, who do you want to be as captain, and what formation shall we play? It's all up to you." And there was just no, it just seemed very rudderless to me. But I think with Mikel Arteta, there is. Well, I'm going to make myself laugh now because I was taking the piss out of this in our group. The clear plan that he keeps talking about, the clear plan that he won't tell us what the plan is, but it's clear, but it's a secret because he won't tell us what the clear plan is.
It's also a plan.
What'd you say, Colin?
So it's also a plan as well as it's well articulated. It's also a plan.
Right.
It's a clear plan.
Yeah. We'll go around the horn here. We're coming up on time, fellas. So let's go around the horn. Colin, I'll start with you. Give me a prediction for tomorrow.
I'm gonna say 3-2 to the Arsenal. 2 Aubameyang goals.
Stan, I feel like I'm putting you on the spot, man. I feel like you're
3-0.
3-0. Wow. He said it. There it is. That's the big one.
Don't laugh, Brian, man. The brand doesn't get these things wrong.
I hope you don't get this wrong. That'd be nice.
Boy, oh boy. Stan, I'm not making any more promises of things I'm going to do if people are right. Because I'm already on the hook to have to drive to frickin' Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Oklahoma.
Ryan, what do you got for me? I'm putting you on the spot now.
All right, I was calling to my gods here to give me
predictions.
predictions.
Look into your crystal shit ball and tell me.
This old pizza plate. It says, hold on, let me get the crumbs off. 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Tony.
2-0 to Arsenal.
2-0. Rowan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 3-1. Vardy penalty, and then.
I was gonna say that now. So we give a penalty. That's what that's gonna happen.
I'm with Rowan. I think we can bag 3 against them, but somewhere, I think they're Vardy is.
We can keep a clean sheet. You don't think that we can keep another clean sheet? We've done 3 clean sheets, man.
3 out of 4.
I mean, I want to believe, Stan. I want to, but let's face it. I mean, numbers are numbers. We're going up against the top goal scorer in the league, so I can't say, oh yeah, we're getting a clean sheet.
I think the goal that I'm giving them is more just out of respect to the third place team in the table right now, probably than me actually thinking they're going to score.
I think we're playing well enough to beat them in a decent fashion. I don't know, but I still feel like they're going to get a 1 or 2. So I'll go 3. I'll stick with my 3-2.
Even though I said 3-0, that's me being really positive. But secretly inside, I think they might get a goal. Secretly inside, I'm still saying it. No, Ryan, I'm not flip-flopping. The brand.
Without Madison and Joel, though, so who knows?
And apparently, Perez isn't playing too. Apparently, they didn't test his fitness too. So I don't know.
Oh, holy shit! Then it might be might be a 3-1.
I just want to say this: like, how much has the environment and the sort of general atmosphere changed since the last time we played Leicester? Because the last time we played Leicester, it was such a downer. If you guys remember, we went into the game knowing that we would lose, and we lost comfortably. Like.
Yeah.
I knew that we were going to lose, but I thought that we were going to have some sort of response. You know, you always do, right? When match comes along, then you're always like, we're going to win this. But it was such a limp performance, and it was a big downer for the season.
That was what, November? And wasn't there an international break right after? I think everybody at that point thought, we're going to lose this game, and this will be Emery's last game in charge because it was right before the international break. He ended up managing the next three matches, I think, before they finally said, "Get that."
I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah, that was like a real bad college semester blackout phase. It's all a blur. I don't remember.
That's a good point.
Unai Emery was the girl that you woke up beside after a 3-day bender. That's what Unai Emery was. Ryan,
listen, that happened. I don't want to get into stories, but my friends called her Sasquatch. I'll leave it at that.
Come on, man. Really? You didn't before you got it.
Leave it hanging.
She's a very nice girl, but
it's a story for next time.
And this is when the show goes off the rails. Not my dog barking, not me having to disappear for 5 minutes. When Ryan talks about his hookup with Sasquatch.
With
She
Sasquatch.
said she was a Met fan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
She said she was a what? A Mets
The
fan?
abominable snowman or whatever.
All right, boys. Moving right along here, we're gonna. I don't know how to segue into the North London Derby after Sasquatch. I got nothing there. So, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It is practically a week away, but at least given what I saw out of them today against Everton.
Sorry, Tanner. I watched this and I thought to myself, how the hell did Eric Dyer play for England? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. It was so bad. It was so bad. I'd much rather watch paint dry than lose 2 hours of my life to watch
paint dry.
Yeah, you guys know what I said backstage. I'm not going to repeat it. So, I think we really should be pasting that lot up the road come Sunday. So, jump in, boys. What are your thoughts?
Does anybody actually know what an Eric Dyer is? What an Eric Dyer does? What an Eric Dyer
No.
I can tell you what it does.
It's like a placeholder.
Beat up fans. That's what he does.
It's a placeholder. He's just like a guy you plug in there and then hope someone replaces him. But
test.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw today's game, or at least I'm sure that you caught the fact that there was a fight that broke.
Yeah, Son and Larice.
Yeah, we can take.
What was that about?
Take the piss on that, but and then there was a post-game interview in which they asked Mourinho, "What do you think about it?" And he said that it's beautiful, because they aren't critical amongst
because he's an asshole.
Yeah, of course. So he's trying to give some sort of spin to it. But what I'm thinking is that it's never right to call someone out so publicly. But on the other hand, the issue at Arsenal is that we're too nice to each other. So how do we get over that and be a little more critical? Be a Vieira or be a Roy Keane who's going to pull up the performance if we are going through that slump. Exactly like what Ryan was saying, right? You want to see what the team does when you go 1-0 down, but do we have characters in the team who are going to rally people up and say that how the fuck are we 1-0 down and we need to buck up? If
I may, it's amazing, and I mean this, but it's amazing what winning does. It's amazing what just win. Al Davis said it best. Just win, baby. And it's amazing the things that winning can cover up. It really is. I honestly, right now, if we went 1-0 down tomorrow, I would be expecting us to come back. I would be expecting us to score a goal, level that match, and then move on from there.
Right now, yeah, I have to watch the game, but yeah, right, yeah. If you told me okay, I'm, if you're, hey, Tanner goes, hey guys, Tanner here, I'm from the future, be good in the future. We're gonna go 1 down.
First thing I would have told you, Ryan, hang on. First thing, if I were from the future, first thing I would have told you is 5,000 to 1. That's what I thought. We're going back.
First thing you would have said is, "Hey man, I'm from the future."
I'd have come back sooner and said 5,000 to 1. That's what I said.
There's some guy in Leicester. He put I think he put 10 pounds on them to win. Fucking madman, love it. But yeah, I would say we're gonna come back. I don't know. I think Rohan hit it on the head. Who in this team is gonna have the will to get this team together? Because I'm sorry, Obama is not a captain.
Nicolas Pepe is going to get a hat trick for his little babby.
I hope.
I saw something today was total trophies won. Nicolas Pepe Jr. 1 day, 0 trophies. Harry Kane, 26 years old, 0 trophies.
Well done. Whoever had that tweet, well done.
I don't know if you guys follow him. There's a Twitter account that says days since Tame.
Days since. Oh, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. and understand this. I have alerts for that account set to on. So every morning I wake up, I know how many days it's been.
Oh my god.
That's great. What a way to wake up.
Yeah, right. I'll. Anybody else want to get on this? Because I do have one more thought, but I want to let you guys go on Rohan's thought about who would pull this team sort of back from the brink if we go down 1-0.
Ganduzi. I hate to say it. I hate to say it.
On FIFA.
I
Scottish madman. Tyranny.
I mean, I don't know if you guys heard the reports how since the Brighton game he's trained alone and he hasn't been training with the team at all. So, it was nice knowing you. I had fun eating those baguettes and seeing the Eiffel Tower, but it's time for me and you to part, Ganduzi. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think he might play his last match.
Yeah. Stan, any thoughts there on Rohan's comment?
Was that about Guendouzi?
No, about a player in this side that would kind of grab us by our bootstraps and pull us forward if we go down 1-0.
Right now, I mean, I think maybe someone like a Rob Holding or a Kieran Tierney
Holding, yeah,
have that kind of have that bit of fight. I think Mustafi as well. Mustafi, I don't know if you saw the tweet I put the other day. He was everywhere, shouting, and he looks on the edge. He looks on the edge, and he's all over the place. But when he plays like that, he plays his best games for me. When he plays like that, where he's like on the edge, like his life depends on playing a good game. That's when he plays good for me.
I don't want to say this. I can't look at Tony right now. I got to block Tony out of here. I think Xhaka. I think if there was a player on the pitch, I'm not saying I agree with it, but if there was a person on the pitch that's gonna rally the troops, I can't say it's gonna be him. They all talk about how he's a leader. Arteta talks about he's a leader. Do I agree with it? No. Do I agree with it? No. But I'm sorry. I can't look at you now. I'm so sorry. He still sucks, and he had a terrible game against the Wolves. I'm going to add that. I'm sorry to backtrack. I don't get these fucking people that said he was man of the match and how he's so good. Listen. I don't want to get into this. I know we went over an hour, so I can't read social media comments. I know, and I apologize because I'm always like I think the other day I was like, I have no followers. Well, it's like, yeah, because I don't tweet because I see moronic comments. Like how Xhaka was man in the match against the Wolves.
But you know who those people are, though, Ryan, and I mean this. It's people who are they. There's no in between with them. He's either God, or he thinks he should be burned at the stake.
Yeah,
that's what I see from him. Rohan, I want to make a comment here on your question. I actually am not going to pick one player. I think it would be a collective effort. I don't think there's one player that I don't think there's one player that this club can look to answer that.
Nor should they. It should be a team effort.
Well, it should be. You're right, but I mean that is the captain's job, and right now that captain is Aubameyang, and that's just not the way he is. That's just not the kind of player he is. And I think, honest to God, I think it would be a collective effort. I think. Right now, confidence is high for these guys. And I think they just kind of look around at one another like, yep, okay, let's go. If we go down 1-0, okay, all right. Got time left. Let's go get the leveler.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope that we've reached that place because that was when I said earlier about when we were at 1-0, I'm still nervous. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not sure that we've reached that place yet, what you've just described, where you can go, okay, we're 1-0 down, but I can look next to me, either side, and I believe we've got enough to get it. I'm almost there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
we need 20.
I think the next game tomorrow,
I agree.
The game that we have coming up after that, and then Liverpool, when we get through these run of games, when we get to the end of that Liverpool game, I think we're going to have a really good idea, and I think Mikel Arteta is going to have a really good idea who's up for it, who isn't up for it, who we can use in what role, in this role and that role, who we should be moving on. I've got a really good feeling that come the end of that Liverpool game, we're going to really know where we are, really know. Because this is that little tough, and we so far we've got past the first hurdle was Wolves. We've done it very well. Tomorrow, Tottenham, Liverpool. That's
Yeah.
that's the area.
Yep. Good stuff, guys. Really appreciate you guys coming on with me. Anybody? I guess we'll go to final thoughts here. Stan, go ahead. We'll just go around the horn.
Well, just what I said, basically, I can't. Just what I said a few seconds ago. We've got these next few matches coming up. So far, we've got past the first test at Wolves. We go again tomorrow. Let's get to the end of that Liverpool game. And we're coming back on this podcast still up and chipper.
Absolutely. Here.
I don't know what I said. I don't know where I got that phrase from. Up and chipper. It just came out. I've never said that in my life before, and I'll probably never say that phrase again. But
you're the brand now, Stan. You can say whatever you want, cowboy. Ryan, final thoughts?
It's tough because I don't really know. I mean, I know like mathematically how many points we're away from Europa, Champions League, and at the end of the day, like I want it. I know I've said it on other podcasts, and I say like, oh, I don't want anything. I don't want Europa. I don't want Champions League. We don't deserve it. We should play, like Chelsea did a couple of years ago. They finished 10th place. They came back. They won the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league next year if we're not, but I think it'd be definitely refreshing to not to worry about any extra games. But in saying that, deep down inside, I want that. I want Europa. I want Champions League. So like if we can get it, we can get it. But my point is that it's tough to say because if it does become realistic, I really wanna, and I know this sounds terrible, but I want to see us go down 1-0. I want to see us go down 2-0. I really want to see what these guys are made of. Because at the end of the day, if we can't get Europa, we can't get Champions League. To me, the rest of the season it's all about character. It's all about seeing what these guys are made of, seeing who's going to be in this team for the long run, and seeing who's going to be part of that future. And, we brought that up. Like, that's the thing, too, is a lot of uncertainty has now been solved. Not all of it. We still have Aubameyang, still have Lacazette, and even for some people, Ozil and Guendouzi. But I think, tying down our future, it's looking bright. I want to put Stan sunglasses on and just be like, the future is just bright for us. So I'm excited.
Tony, go ahead. Final thoughts.
I just want to see us go out and play with more passion and desire, and hopefully get some 8 and 9 performances in, and just not 6 and 7s from everybody.
And you want 3 points because you want me driving to Oklahoma.
And you're buying me beers. Don't forget about that part of it.
Oh, I know. Tony, if I show up in Oklahoma, we're getting drunk. Trust me.
Tony, just be careful. Your ass is going to hurt the next day. Just don't ask questions.
So my thoughts on this is that it's a massive game for us right now. Game week 34, we play Leicester, difficult game. Spurs play Bournemouth, easy game on paper for them. You don't want to go into the North London derby 2 points behind or 1 point behind. You want to be in a controlling position, and that will set us up for the North London derby, and then we'll be able to capitalize on that. They will have the prerogative to come out on the front foot, and that will give us an advantage. Whoever wins this round, if we lose this game or if we draw this game and Spurs win their game, then it might give them an advantage in the derby as well. So this game is not just one game. It has an effect, a knock-on effect on Sunday's game, and that's why it's so important. I'd like to see a clear performance, clear game plan, being executed correctly, and basically, hopefully, I'm wrong and we get another clean sheet.
Okay, a clean sheet will turn to a cream sheet for me. That's all I'm saying.
There it is. I knew it was only a matter of time. And on that note, we're going to get out of here, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching in the live comments. Mike, Ray, Glenn, Sam, if I missed anybody, I apologize. Everybody watching on replay, thank you very much. Please, please, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. On the march to 100 subscribers, I know it may not seem like much, but it would be a big milestone for me. So, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Stan, Ryan, Tony, Rohan, Colin, he ducked out. But thanks for coming on, guys. Only one thing left to say. Come on, you Gunners.
Up the Arsenal.
Up the arse.